The consolidation of Ottoman control over much of the Balkans was a key event in the history of the Ottoman Empire, marking a turning point in both European and Ottoman political and military dynamics. This process, which spanned several decades during the late 14th and early 15th centuries, involved a series of military conquests, strategic alliances, and cultural integrations that ultimately transformed the Ottomans into one of the most powerful empires in history. By the end of this period, the Ottoman Empire would dominate much of the Balkans, and their influence would extend into Europe, Asia, and North Africa. The Ottoman journey into the Balkans began in the early 14th century under the leadership of Sultan Orhan I, the second ruler of the Ottoman Empire. Orhan's military conquest set the stage for the empire's expansion into southeastern Europe, but it was under Sultan Murad I that the Ottomans truly solidified their control over the region. Following the capture of Adrianople in 1361, Murad I used the city as a base from which the Ottomans could launch further campaigns into the Balkans. Adrianople was strategically located at the crossroads between Asia and Europe, making it a critical prize for the Ottomans. Its capture by the Ottomans marked the beginning of Ottoman rule in Europe, establishing a foothold in the heart of the Balkans. The city would go on to serve as the empire's second capital, and its location allowed for easier military access to the surrounding territories. With Adrianople secured, Murad I began a series of campaigns that would bring much of the Balkans under Ottoman control. The primary strategy the Ottomans employed in their Balkan expansion was a combination of military conquest and diplomatic alliances. The Ottomans were adept at using both force and negotiation to bring local rulers under their control. In many cases, they offered local rulers autonomy in exchange for loyalty and tribute to the Ottoman Sultan. This pragmatic approach allowed the Ottomans to extend their influence without engaging in prolonged conflicts. The millet system, which granted religious communities the right to govern themselves, also helped integrate Christian communities in the Balkans while maintaining their loyalty to the Ottoman state. Despite this pragmatic approach, the Ottomans still faced resistance from the powerful Christian kingdoms and principalities in the region. The Serbian kingdom, led by Prince Lazar Rebelljanović, was one of the most formidable opponents the Ottomans faced in the Balkans. In the late 14th century, Serbia was one of the last remaining independent Christian powers in the region and stood as a major obstacle to Ottoman expansion. The Battle of Kosovo in 1389 was a critical turning point in Ottoman relations with Serbia. The battle, fought between the forces of Sultan Murad I and Prince Lazar of Serbia, is one of the most famous military confrontations in Ottoman history. Though the battle ended in a stalemate, with both leaders killed in the fighting, it was a decisive moment in the Ottoman consolidation of the Balkans. The death of Prince Lazar left the Serbian kingdom vulnerable and divided, and the Ottomans took advantage of the weakened state to further solidify their presence in the region. Although the battle did not result in an outright Ottoman victory, it was a turning point that signaled the Ottoman dominance in the Balkans. Following the battle, the Ottomans quickly moved to secure their position in Kosovo, Serbia, and the surrounding areas. In the years after the battle, the Ottomans continued to expand westward, incorporating Bosnia, Albania, and Macedonia into the empire. The Ottomans also continued to engage in diplomatic negotiations with local rulers, offering them autonomy in exchange for loyalty to the Sultan. This approach helped ease the process of integration for the Christian populations in the Balkans, who were allowed to maintain their religious and cultural practices under Ottoman rule. The Ottoman Empire's success in the Balkans was due in large part to its military organization and innovative tactics. The Janissary Corps, an elite military unit formed by Christian boys taken through the Devshirme system, played a central role in Ottoman military campaigns. The Janissaries were well-trained, disciplined, and loyal to the Sultan. and their effectiveness on the battlefield made them one of the most formidable military forces in the region. The military strength of the Ottomans, combined with their diplomatic skills and administrative reforms, enabled them to steadily consolidate control over the Balkans. Murad I's leadership and military vision played a key role in the success of these campaigns. His ability to balance both military conquest and political alliances allowed the Ottomans to expand rapidly while minimizing resistance from local powers. As the 14th century drew to a close, the Ottomans had firmly established their presence in the Balkans. By the early 15th century, the Ottoman Empire was a major power in southeastern Europe. The Balkans had become a key part of the Ottoman Empire, setting the stage for further expansion into Central Europe and eventually to the gates of Vienna in the 16th century. In conclusion, the consolidation of Ottoman control over much of the Balkans was a multifaceted process that relied on military conquest, strategic alliances, and administrative integration. Through a combination of force and diplomacy, the Ottomans successfully expanded their empire, establishing themselves as a dominant force in Europe. Their control of the Balkans laid the foundation for the Ottoman Empire's future expansion and shaped the course of European history for centuries to come. By the beginning of the 15th century, the Ottoman Empire had successfully consolidated control over much of the Balkans, marking a transformative period in both Ottoman and European history. The victories and strategies employed by Sultan Murad I and his successors were instrumental in establishing the Ottoman Empire as the preeminent power in southeastern Europe. As the Ottomans moved westward, their military prowess and diplomacy combined to forge an empire that stretched across Asia, Europe, and North Africa. However, the consolidation of power in the Balkans did not come easily. Despite significant military successes, the Ottomans faced resistance from both local rulers and external Christian powers. After the Battle of Kosovo in 1389, the Ottomans faced the difficult task of consolidating their victory. Though the battle did not provide a decisive defeat for the Serbs, it effectively marked the end of the Serbian kingdom as a major regional power. Following the death of Prince Lazar Rebeljianović, the Serbian resistance was fragmented, and the Ottomans swiftly moved to incorporate much of the Serbian territory into their empire. The Serbian remnants, now disorganized and weakened, could not mount an effective resistance to the growing Ottoman power. As a result, Serbia became a de facto Ottoman vassal, further consolidating Ottoman control over the Balkans. Following the victory at Kosovo, Sultan Murad I's successor, Bayezid I, continued the expansion of Ottoman influence in the Balkans. Known as Bayezid the Thunderbolt, his leadership was marked by both military brilliance and ruthless determination. His reign saw the *** Ottomans pushing westward into Bosnia, Albania, and Hungary, territories that were vital to the Ottomans' expansion plans. Bayezid's military campaigns were instrumental in dismantling the remaining Christian resistance in the region, particularly as he sought to weaken Hungarian influence in the Balkans. Bayezid I's conquest of Bosnia in 1390 further solidified Ottoman power in the region. Despite attempts at resistance from local Bosnian lords, the Ottomans were able to leverage their superior military force to conquer the region, bringing it under Ottoman control. Following the conquest of Bosnia, the Ottomans turned their attention to Albania. Under the leadership of George Kastrioti, better known as Skanderbeg, the Albanians mounted one of the most famous resistances against the Ottomans. However, after Skanderbeg's death in 1468, Albania too fell under Ottoman control, marking the full consolidation of Ottoman power in the Western Balkans. The Ottoman military strategy played a central role in their success. The Janissary Corps, an elite military unit recruited through the Devshirme system, became the backbone of Ottoman military forces in the Balkans. These elite soldiers, often taken from Christian communities in the Balkans, were trained in the art of warfare and sworn to loyalty to the Sultan. The Janissaries' discipline, training, and dedication made them highly effective, and their presence in the Balkans ensured that Ottoman victories were consistently followed by the military occupation and integration of new territories into the empire. The role of the Janissaries in consolidating Ottoman power cannot be overstated. Their loyalty to the Sultan and their military skills allowed the Ottomans to secure key victories, such as the Siege of Constantinople in 1453, which marked the final fall of the Byzantine Empire. However, the Janissaries' power did not come without consequence. As the Janissary corps grew in influence, it began to demand political power within the Ottoman court, occasionally leading to conflict with the Sultan's government. The growing influence of the Janissaries within Ottoman society, both militarily and politically, was a significant factor in the development of the empire. In addition to military victories, the Ottomans also employed diplomatic strategies to maintain control over their Balkan territories. Marriage alliances with local rulers helped to solidify Ottoman dominance and keep potential rebellions in check. Ottoman rulers were quick to incorporate local elites into the Ottoman administrative system, offering them positions of power within the empire in exchange for loyalty. The Ottoman system of governance, with its emphasis on decentralization through local rulers and the millet system for religious communities, helped maintain stability in the conquered territories. By the end of the 15th century, the Ottomans had achieved full control over much of the Balkans. The conquest of the Serbian, Bosnian, and Albanian territories, as well as the establishment of a strategic foothold in Hungary, set the stage for the Ottomans to continue their expansion into Central Europe and the Mediterranean. This consolidation of power would remain a hallmark of the Ottoman Empire, with the sultans effectively governing a vast and diverse empire for the next several centuries. In conclusion, the consolidation of Ottoman control over much of the Balkans was a complex and multifaceted process that relied on both military strength and strategic diplomacy. Through a combination of battle victories, territorial acquisitions, and the incorporation of local elites into the Ottoman system, the Ottomans were able to maintain control over their vast European holdings. This period of consolidation marked a key moment in the rise of the Ottoman Empire, laying the foundation for centuries of Ottoman dominance in southeastern Europe and beyond. By the early 16th century, the Ottoman Empire had firmly entrenched itself as the dominant power in the Balkans. The consolidation of Ottoman control in this region did not just result from military victories but also from a strategic combination of diplomacy, military organization, and social policies that integrated local populations into the empire. As the Ottomans moved beyond military conquests, their governance, legal systems, and cultural practices ensured that the Balkans became an enduring part of the Ottoman Empire. One of the primary means through which the Ottomans consolidated their control over the Balkans was through the establishment of an effective military presence across the region. After Sultan Bayezid I's reign, the Ottomans began to implement more advanced military tactics, leveraging the strengths of their elite Janissary corps and expanding the army with new types of artillery. The Janissaries, as the core of the Ottoman military, played a key role in securing and holding on to Ottoman-controlled territories in the Balkans. The Devshirme system, which recruited Christian boys from the Balkans to be trained as Janissaries, was a significant method of ensuring loyalty and discipline among the elite soldiers. These soldiers were not only military assets but also political tools, often holding strategic positions in the administration, which further solidified their importance in Ottoman governance. The military prowess of the Ottomans was complemented by their highly organized administrative system. Under the Ottoman system of governance, regions were divided into provinces, each governed by a bey who reported directly to the Sultan. These beylerbeyis had significant autonomy but remained loyal to the central Ottoman authority, ensuring that the empire's influence extended deep into the Balkans. The Ottoman legal system also helped maintain order. The Ottomans blended Sharia law with Kanun, which provided a legal framework that balanced religious and state concerns. This helped in managing the diverse populations of the Balkans, which included Muslims, Christians, and Jews, all of whom were given a degree of autonomy under the millet system. The millet system was another key component in consolidating Ottoman power in the Balkans. By granting religious communities autonomy to manage their internal affairs, the Ottomans minimized resistance and facilitated peaceful integration of different religious groups. The system allowed Christian Orthodox communities, for example, to practice their faith, manage schools, and administer their own legal affairs while paying taxes to the Ottoman state. This policy of religious tolerance was crucial in maintaining stability in the Balkans, where tensions between different ethnic and religious groups could have easily led to uprisings. In this way, the Ottomans ensured the loyalty of local populations while solidifying their rule over a vast and diverse region. Additionally, the Ottomans employed strategic marriage alliances to further cement their control. Marriages between Ottoman sultans and local ruling families in the Balkans helped integrate the elites into the Ottoman system, thereby reducing the likelihood of rebellion. These alliances also ensured that the Ottoman imperial family maintained a stronghold in the political and social circles of the Balkans. Through such alliances, the Ottomans were able to neutralize potential threats from local aristocracies while simultaneously expanding their influence. Despite the Ottomans' relative success in integrating the Balkans, the region remained a complex and sometimes volatile part of the empire. The powerful Habsburg monarchy, particularly in Hungary, remained a significant rival. The Battle of Mohacs in 1526, where the Ottomans decisively defeated the Hungarians, was one of the final steps in securing Ottoman dominance in the Balkans. This victory resulted in the division of Hungary between the Ottomans and the Habsburgs, with much of the southern part falling under Ottoman control. This battle sealed the fate of the Balkans, and after the conquest of Hungary, the Ottomans fully controlled almost the entire region. Beyond military conquest, economic integration also played a major role in the consolidation of Ottoman control in the Balkans. The Ottomans established trade routes that linked their empire in Europe to markets in Asia and Africa. The Balkans, strategically positioned along these trade routes, became an integral part of the Ottoman economic system. The establishment of marketplaces, the building of roads and bridges, and the development of agricultural sectors in the Balkans ensured the empire's wealth and resources were efficiently controlled and managed. Furthermore, the Ottoman tax system, though often harsh, helped fund military campaigns and public works that strengthened the empire's hold on the region. However, while the Ottomans had largely succeeded in consolidating power in the Balkans by the early 16th century, they faced constant challenges in maintaining their control. Over time, Ottoman rule in the Balkans faced growing internal resistance, particularly from the rising influence of Christian Europe. The growing tensions between the Ottoman Empire and Habsburg Austria would eventually lead to conflicts throughout the 16th and 17th centuries. Yet the Ottoman Empire's ability to manage such resistance, coupled with its military prowess, legal systems, and administrative structures, ensured its grip on the Balkans remained largely unchallenged until the 19th century. In conclusion, the consolidation of Ottoman control over the Balkans was a result of a combination of military, administrative, and diplomatic strategies. The Ottomans used force, religious tolerance, and cultural integration to ensure that their control over the Ottomans used force, religious tolerance, and cultural integration to ensure that their control over the Pole region was not only military but also socially and economically sustained. By the 16th century, the Ottoman Empire had transformed the Balkans into one of its most important regions, securing its dominance over Europe for centuries. The successful consolidation of power in the Balkans remains a testament to the strategic genius of the Ottoman sultans and their ability to integrate diverse regions into a cohesive empire.